In this post, I'm going to fit all of this and more into this Feldherr case. This is a continuation of 2 other videos from this channel. Links to those will be in the description below, and they'll also flash across the top right of the video closer to the end of the post. On top of seeing me fill this case and work with some Pluck foam, you're also going to see me unbox all of these Blood Plunder miniatures. My name is Jay, and you're watching Must Contain Minis. I do reviews and showcases of miniatures and miniature-related products. My aim is to show you products by companies other than the largest on the market. In the interest of full disclosure, Feldherr sent me this case for review purposes. There's a coupon code from them to help you save money on this case in the description below. That promotion ends soon, so if you're interested in saving a little bit of money, be sure to act fast. Anyhow, if you're late on that coupon code, this video still can be of interest to you. On top of fitting all of those boxes into this case, I'm also going to open up these boxes on camera so you can see exactly what's in these Blood Plunder boxes for the English, European Militia, and the Pirates and Privateers starter sets. My goal with these boxes is to amass a large English militia as well as to create a pirate force. You may remember this Maxi Plus from my last review video. I have a good number of painted miniatures in there. These French miniatures I'm going to give away to a friend to make space for new minis. The Pluck foam I did not actually work with in my first review of this case. Today I'm going to change that and fit 2 barks in there. Let's take a quick look at the ship. You get instructions in the box along with a stat card for the game. Now the ship. It is wrapped in paper, and there it is. A nice looking vessel. I may have to cut open those gun ports, but it looks good. Here's the rigging string and some accessories for the ship. I got 2 of these ships. I will spare you from the unboxing of the second one. I also got 2 boats. I'm not sure if they will fit together in there as well, but let's unbox those 2. Okay, it is a longboat. I already have one of these painted in my collection. Now I have 2 more to paint. The boat comes with a stat card for the game, and it looks like there is a little bit of resin to clean up on the bottom of this mini. Now let's take a look at how that Pluck foam works with the barks. This is one of my goals with the case. I wanted to be able to take 2 ships around with me along with enough minis for a few forces. The foam I ordered is the right size for the barks, and it looks like it could fit a boat in there as well if I wish. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. I want a place to put my cannons as well. Looking at the instructions, you just pluck the foam before sticking it to the bottom piece. They even give you a template to trace out what you're putting into the case. I forget what size of pluck foam I ordered, but if you work with Feldherr when you order, they will make sure that you get the right size foam for your miniatures. So to make sure that everything is perfect, I used the template. I then measured the cannons and found them to be 3 cubes long. I then created a number of slots where I can place the cannons and guns from the 2 ships. I turned the foam over and tried to draw my Pluck pattern on the back of the set. That did not work. The pencil left no marks on the backing. I plucked a few from the back, and then I realized that I really should be plucking from the front. I placed the ship in the same place that I put it on the template, and then started plucking away. The first one was tough to get out, and I pulled only half of it out when I first tried. Best to look at these instructions again. Looks like I was doing it wrong at the start. Time to work properly. I just started plucking the foam in a way that matches the template that I drew out. I then used the ship to measure every so often to confirm my work. Measure twice, cut once. I don't think it would be easy to replace this foam if I make a mistake. The ship fits in there very well, and at this point I'm satisfied with my first ship. Just look at that. Perfect. Now it's time for the second ship, and this one is much faster. I knew what I was doing this time. The first time you pluck the foam, it feels a little different because I've never done it before. The foam cubes are connected to each other in a few locations all the way down to the bottom of the tray. Now I have both of the ships completed. Time to measure the boat. Looks like I could fit it in there sideways with a good fit. I then measure the Pluck foam out for the cannons. I'm going to fit a few little openings in there, and I'm going to have to work delicate with this one. I then figure out I could stack the cannons two to a hole and place a piece of foam between them to protect each one. Once I get all the foam plucked, it is time to peel the sticker backing off and place the bottom of the tray onto the foam that I plucked. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. The adhesive is very sticky, yet it has been accommodating of my mistakes. I probably should have left it at good enough, but I kept working at it because I want this tray to be perfect. I don't think you have to be as fastidious as I've been with this tray. I'm not sure about you, but sometimes I like the details to be just so. Now I can fit the ships in along with the guns and accessories. In retrospect, I am thinking I should have plucked out a row between the two ships for the dowels of the mast for when the ships are not in use. I plan to attempt the rigging of these ships so that I can take them apart and place them in this tray when I go from place to place. That said, it is also possible that I might not rig this ship up at all because I want the decks to be accessible when I go demoing the game. There we are. We have the two ships along with their cannons and swivel guns in the tray. Nice. Oh yes, the masts. I almost forgot about them. There we go. Now let's do some unboxing. We have lots of boxes to go through here. Let's start with the European Colonial Militia Starter Set. We have the mounted commander with a cannon in there. We have the cannon crew, then some riders, and 2 blisters of soldiers followed by a militia card. These guys are going to end up as part of my English forces rather than ending up as part of my Spanish collection. Now let's fit those riders into my case. Here they are, fitting perfectly into the trays that Feldherr recommended to me. Thanks, Feldherr. Looks like I have some assembly to do with those miniatures though. Some of these minis will come with bent guns. That seems to be normal with Firelock Games, but the metal is easy to work with and you can gently bend them back into shape without worrying about breaking the miniatures. The commander and cannon are going to go in there as well. Wait a minute, I own some other cannons that I also want to fit in here. These are not part of the militia set, but I still want them to be in the same compartments within the case. Perfect. I'm very happy with that. Each cannon will have its own home when I get around to finally building these miniatures. In the end, I filled this tray with the horses and cannon from the Militia Starter Set along with 2 extra field guns. I also bought some heavy cannons to look at. Here's a size comparison of the large cannon versus the medium and the small. Now let's fill another tray. Before filling the tray though, I'm going to have to make some more room. By my math, I don't have enough room for all of my Blood Plunder miniatures that I own, so I'm going to have to give away some of my French models to a friend of mine. Hopefully this will give me another opponent to play with in the future. The Blood Plunder minis look amazing when you get them all painted and on the tabletop. I have a whole section about Blood Plunder and there is a link to those videos in the top right now. By removing these 25 minis, I should have the space I need for the new miniatures that I bought along with the painted ones I already own. Let's start with the cannon crew. Looks like they don't all fit in this tray. I'm going to have to try the other tray that I currently have my Lanceros in. Okay, I'm going to have to think about this. How do I want to store my collection? I already own painted starter sets of the Spanish and Dutch. How about I put all of my painted figures in one tray? This holds 50 figures, so that's enough to fit all of my painted minis except for my Lanceros. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something satisfying about a tray of painted figures. Okay, now I have a blank slate to work with. Since I have a blank slate with 50 slots, I'm going to start with the 2 boxes of English starter sets. There are 50 miniatures between the 2 boxes. Let's unbox these and get them in there. We have a Buccaneer Storming Party, Sea Dogs, 2 sets of Militia, and 2 sets of Freebooters. On top of that, we get a card that details the stats of the minis and also outlines 2 factions that you can use these miniatures for. Those 2 factions happen to be exactly what I want to build with this set. Now I'm going to jump ahead a bit while I unbox the second set. It contains all of the same things as the first box. On top of the 2 English starter boxes, I also bought a bunch of extras. This includes a commander, many units of militia, Canon crew members, and some European soldiers. Now it's time to start placing the minis in their new homes. I'm going to have to start with all of those militia models. Again, their guns sometimes come bent, but they are easy and safe enough to bend back into place. Part of the reason I want them in the foam is to protect them from bending and damage while I transport them around. I bought a lot of militia figures. I even bought a couple of extra blisters worth of them, just so I can bolster up my numbers. Now that I'm done with the militia figures, time to figure out what to put in the foam I used for the Lanceros. I think the Canon crew miniatures should fit. I have Lanceros to deal with as well. These Pikemen I like, but I have no idea how to transport them. They actually come with long pikes made out of a different metal with sharpened tips. Looks like the pikes fit through holes in the hands of the miniatures. I may have to clean those up before I build the minis. That's fine, I have a pin vise that I can use if I need it. What are these minis going to fit into? They won't fit into what I use for the cavalry. I think I may have to talk to Feldherr to see if they have any suggestions on how to store these minis. I will move on for now. Now I'm going to unbox the Sea Dogs. Looks like that is where Firelock Games placed my commander for this set. I'm going to place him in the top row and start along with the Sea Dogs. Very nice packaging, by the way. In they go into the case. With the Sea Dogs done, I'm going to move along to the Buccaneers storming party. These will fit in these 4 slots very nicely. Oh, I changed my mind. Captains go to the left now. What shall I fit in there next? I have 6 spots left. Oh yes, a second Buccaneer storming party. Okay, now what? I have lots of freebooters to fit in, but only 3 slots left on this tray. I know, I'm going to put my painted Captain Morgan miniature in there. There is a video of close-ups of that miniature in my Blood Plunder section that you can watch after this video. I might as well also place my French captain in there too. I'm keeping him. Sorry, Dave. Okay, that leaves 1 slot. I know. In goes the Blender Monkey. Okay, this tray holds 36 miniatures and I have 4 spaces in my tray with the painted Dutch and Spanish miniatures. In go the freebooters. There are a lot of them to go in there. Between the 2 boxes I have 16 of those miniatures. In they go like I'm working at a miniatures factory. I have 20 spaces left in the tray. In go my European soldiers. Now I have 8 slots left to go in this tray and another box of 25 miniatures to go into this case. Speaking of 25 more miniatures, let's unbox the Pirates and Privateers set now. All of the miniatures in this set are sailors. That is good for a ship-based force. We have a special weapons team, more Canon crew miniatures. I'm going to have to figure out how to fit them into this case. We also have some European sailors and European sailors with muskets. Again, we get a card with a couple of factions that you can build and use these miniatures as. How am I going to fit this Canon crew in there? Let's rethink this. How am I going to do this? I have to think hard. I have way more miniatures left than spaces in my case. I plan to focus on storing the minis that the English militia and pirate hunters would use. I'm going to split up the Canon crews so the ones that are too big to fit in the regular slots go into the same tray as my Lanceros. The extra guys left will go with my painted figures. I'm going to toss the sailors with the muskets into the tray. To finish off, I'm going to put the sailors with the special weapons in the tray as well. They can be used as specially armed sea dogs. Okay, that leaves me with a few sets that I could not fit into my case. Keep in mind that I purchased a bunch of extra blisters on top of the 4 starter sets. All of these minis that you see now and my 2 boats did not fit in the case. I'm going to have to talk to Feldherr about how to get these guys into the cases as well, especially the Pikemen. They are huge when assembled. For now, they're all going to go into a box for storage. Now, let's take a look at all I fit in the trays of my Maxi Plus Feldherr case. We have a few layers here. I'm going to start with the tray that has 36 slots, followed by my tray of mostly British miniatures. I then have my near 50 painted Blood Plunder minis. They look really good. Next up, cavalry, field guns, and a tray with the lanceros and cannon crew. Finally, I have my 2 barks. This is impressive. I am able to fit a lot of miniatures in this case that Feldherr sent to me, along with 2 ships in there as well. That is on top of all those miniatures. I managed to fit all 3 of these boxes into the case, along with 2 other painted starter sets and a large number of blisters. Now let's get the shell of the case to the table and place all of these foam trays in there with the minis. I start with the ships. They fit in there perfectly. Some extra foam for protection. Now the 2 half-size trays. You could put them in there any order you want. I'm just going with the way that I feel is good. That is a lot of minis. I top it off with some extra foam for protection and close the case. This case is super nice and I like it a lot. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, as it is a follow-up to my Feldherr case review, link in the top right now, and also a follow-up to my Firelock Games delivery post, and that link is in the top right now as well. I had a lot of fun unboxing the 4 starter sets worth of miniatures with you, along with the 2 barks and the 2 longboats. Because I already own 50 painted Blood Plunder miniatures, and I bought a lot of extra blister packs, I could not fit my entire collection into this one case. That said, I did get close. So now you've seen me fit an entire Blood Plunder collection into a Feldherr Maxi Plus Miniatures case. What other collections would you like to see in a Feldherr case? Put that in the comments below. I have plenty of other armies to give a try to. I have Dystopian Wars, Warhammer 40k, Bolt Action, and a whole ton of miniatures by War Games Atlantic and other companies as well. Thank you again for watching this video. If you like this video, be sure to check out my website, mustcontainminis.com, and my other videos on this channel as well. Until next time, happy gaming everyone!